50-Year Journey Come Full Circle, written by Dr. Matthew A. Johnson. I'm Willi Rose, and we are reading the book, Bigfoot. Chapter 17 is on tap right now with multiple eyewitness testimonies. Eyewitness testimony is a legal term. It refers to an account given by people of an event they have witnessed. For example, they may be required to give a description at a trial of a robbery or a road accident someone has seen. This includes identification of perpetrators, details of the crime scene, etc. You can find that in simplypsychology.com. When it comes to the Bigfoot forest people phenomena, eyewitness testimonies are greatly relied upon as important data to support or back up the circumstantial evidence. Just look at various Bigfoot investigation websites on the internet. They will list numerous eyewitness sightings, classify them, and then supplement the reports with a Bigfoot investigator who has gone into the area afterwards to confirm the reported sighting through the collection of circumstantial evidence, for example, footprints, handprints, hair samples, etc. In short, a solid and credible eyewitness combined with circumstantial evidence is a hard case to refute. Over the past 5 decades, the kingdom of Bigfootdom has been built, brick by brick, upon this simple truth: eyewitness testimonies plus circumstantial evidence. Just a reminder, this is exactly why my family's encounter on July 1st, 2000 stood out like a sore thumb. An entire family experienced an encounter. A psychologist saw the Bigfoot forest person, and a national park ranger found circumstantial evidence 2 days later. The credibility of my family, my credentials as a psychologist, and the confirmation of Ranger John Roth was very hard to dispute. That's why the media was all over my family's encounter like a cat on catnip. Now, I'm smart enough to realize that the testimonies from multiple witnesses far surpasses the testimonies of the few or the one. Therefore, when I began to conduct my research in the Southern Oregon Research Area, or SORA, which eventually changed to the Southern Oregon Habituation Area, SOHA, I knew that my individual testimony of the results that I was starting to glean from my research approach was not going to be enough to appease the skeptics. In other words, anyone can go out into the forest and make all kinds of claims, but if they're the only one experiencing those events, then it's easy for the masses to write them off as crazy or a hoaxer. Therefore, over a 10-year period of time, I managed to bring over 40 witnesses with me to SOHA. Either we're all crazy, or we're all liars, or we're all telling the truth. Likewise, if you want to establish credibility as a Bigfoot forest people researcher, it's not enough to go out there by yourself, experience them, and then come back and report your data. Once again, you can be written off as crazy or a hoaxer. However, when you go to the great lengths to document your research, as I have done, and I still do, utilizing multiple eyewitness testimonies, then it's harder for others to blow off your results. I brought people out with me who are teachers, principals, attorneys, janitors, hairstylists, policemen, businessmen, avid hunters, military personnel, engineers, grocers, artists, investigators, computer technicians, pastors, mental health clinicians, music DJs, financial planners, TV personalities, etc. Most have testified publicly about their experiences with me up in the mountains via my YouTube.com channel. Just go to youtube.com, type in Team Squatchin USA, and you'll come across over 150 videos to watch and learn from. Many of those videos include eyewitness testimonies from SOHA and SOYA. I would like to share with you how I went about screening individuals to join me in my research area. It's very important that you don't just bring anyone along with you. First things first, do not bring anyone along with you who reeks of negativity. If they're dark on the inside, constantly treat others rudely and disrespectfully, and all they care about is themselves, I guarantee you that the Bigfoot forest people will spot them a mile away and have nothing to do with them. They don't like a-holes. In a couple of cases over the years, I've had people ask me to provide them with some consultation in order to assist them in improving the possibility of success in their research area. I always have them openly and honestly tell me about their research team members. Then, if necessary, I'll hone in on an individual team member who is coming across to me as a potential a-hole. If my suspicions are confirmed, I'll tell them to cut the a-hole off of their team. Those who listen to me and have followed through with my advice started to see improvement in interactions almost immediately. Those who ignored my advice continued to experience very little, if anything at all, in their research areas. In one case in the Midwest, a gentleman who ignored my advice at first because the guy that I identified as the proverbial a-hole on his team was his best friend, eventually cut his best friend off of his research team. As a result, he noticed an increase in visuals and interactions almost immediately. I don't care if the a-hole on your research team is your best friend or spouse. Either they change their ways or you cut them from the team if you want to experience results. Serious Bigfooting is not about going out into the woods to have a fun time with your friends. Rather, it's about doing anything and everything to increase the likelihood of experiencing increased sightings and interactions. If you have to cut someone from the team, then cut them from the team. You can spend fun times with them doing other things besides Bigfooting with them. Next, I screen for people to accompany me to my research area who are, number 1, kind, with number 2, good hearts, and number 3, open minds. They also have to be teachable and willing to submit to my protocol. If you have established a successful protocol in your research area and are experiencing the Bigfoot forest people multiple times, why would you risk bringing someone out with you who thinks they know it all and who's unteachable? They will set your research success backwards. A couple of years ago, I had to withdraw my offer to bring a well-known figure in Bigfootdom with me to Soha. I had been pestered for years to bring this gentleman to Soha with me. However, when it came time for me to vet him like I do everyone else who comes to Soha with me, this person became offended. They thought that they should be able to come to Soha simply because of who they were and their status in the kingdom of Bigfootdom. I was left with no other choice but to inform this person that they weren't going to be able to come along. He most definitely did not have a teachable spirit about him. The next thing that I would do when it came to inviting potential eyewitnesses to Soha, I would have them sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. Contrary to the rumors that the trolls in Bigfootdom were spreading, the NDA did not prevent anyone from talking about their experiences in Soha. Why on God's green earth would I invite multiple witnesses to Soha and then prohibit them from talking about their experiences while being there with me? That doesn't make any sense at all. Instead, the NDA encouraged them to talk about their experiences at Soha. The only thing that the NDA prohibited anyone from doing was 1, not to tell anyone else where Soha was located, and 2, never go back to Soha unless they were coming back as my guest. Oh yes, plus I got their firstborn child. Oh! Okay. I always explained my protocol to my potential guests and told them that they would follow it to the letter of the law, or I would escort them off the mountain and that they would never be welcomed back. This included no alcohol or drugs, peeing and pooping only in the identified areas, smoking in the designated spaces, no fires or lights, and absolutely no freaking out aloud. I always had to chuckle when individuals would respond to me with, freak out about what? I would tell them all of the potential things that they could see or experience while in Soha, including waking up in the middle of the night to a Bigfoot forest person right next to their cot. As I just said, they were told that they could not freak out. I would tell them that they were to act like they were a Navy SEAL and that they were as strong as steel. Almost everyone who comes with me is totally scared to death on their first night to my research area. It's kind of cute. When they wake up the next morning, I'll look at them and ask if they're alive. Naturally, they respond to me with a yes and ask me why. I just remind them that the Bigfoot forest people surrounded us last night, and that's important data to note that absolutely no one woke up dead in the morning. They get my point and manage to relax much more during their second and third nights to my research area. Finally, I require my attendees to speak out about their experiences when they come to my research area. Multiple witness testimonies that all see, experience, and say the same things over and over again provide some serious credibility to my research methods and results. Their eyewitness testimony is especially compelling when combined with circumstantial evidence. Most of my multiple eyewitnesses have been willing to give their testimonies via my YouTube videos. Please watch them in order from the oldest video first to the newest video last. Afterwards, they have talked with their family and friends about what they experience in Soha, as well as participated in group discussions via my Team Squatchin USA Facebook group page. Finally, several of them have provided written testimonies which you can read at the end of the book. However, every once in a while, I'll run into individuals who hesitate to testify publicly out of fear of retaliation from others. In other words, the kingdom of Bigfootdom can be very political, and there are people out there who don't want to hear the truth, nor do they want others validating the truth that I am sharing with the world. For example, initially, Ron Moorhead and his fiancée, Carrie Campbell, didn't want to testify publicly about coming to my research area, nor share what they experienced in Soya. Ron is well known and connected in Bigfootdom, and he feared that some individuals might shun him or get on his case for hanging out with me and verifying my research results. Eventually, he spoke up and even submitted a write-up for my book. Thank you very much, Ron and Carrie. Another example would be my third child, Micah. He came to my research area with me twice during the 2016 research season and was totally blown away. He told me that it turned out that his dad wasn't crazy after all. I needed to hear my son say that. Nevertheless, he wanted me to delay any public mentioning of his coming to my research area because he needed some time to process everything before he was willing to go public with his experiences. Micah plans to return to Soya in the future. Finally, I brought a world-renowned cryptozoologist to Soha with me, and he was so overwhelmed by what he experienced that he didn't want to tell anyone anything for fear of public ridicule. I'll discuss our out-of-this-world experience in the next chapter. In conclusion, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you going out into your own area and keeping your experiences private. In that case, you're not going to share your data with others, nor are you trying to educate the world. keep on squatching in privacy. On the other hand, if your goal is to share your data with others and you want to help educate the world about the Bigfoot forest people phenomena, you're going to need to collect circumstantial evidence, and you're going to need to supplement it with a whole lot of credible eyewitness testimonies. There's truth to be found in the multitude of eyewitnesses, especially when combined with a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. The skeptics can doubt or disbelieve you, but they're much less likely to successfully deny information provided by a whole bunch of credible eyewitnesses. That's the end of chapter 17. And next, we'll go on to chapter 18, called Throwing in the Towel. You're listening to the reading of Bigfoot, a 50-year journey come full circle, written by Dr. Matthew A. Johnson. I'm Willi Rose.